What's up, guys? Man, what just kind of hit me today is a doozy. I think I always understood this logically, but it just really, hit me. I think there's a difference between knowing something and feeling something and, having it actually hit you. It reminds me of when someone said that, you can learn anything from a book and from other people, but until you actually live it, only then does it become wisdom. And what I've been thinking a lot about is why, especially more so recently in the past couple of years, why my mind seems to always assume the worst. So for instance, if I'm imagining a situation and I'm trying to think of the outcome, it's almost every time the story that plays out in my mind is this will happen, this will happen, this will happen, it'll be a failure, you'll be judged, it'll blow up in your face, etc., etc. And it's just so interesting. I mean, anyone who watches this, regardless of whether or not you comment or like or whatever, just think in your own life, is this a common occurrence? When you're planning on doing something, do you often play it out in your mind and then think of the worst case scenario? Because I know I do that all the damn time. All the time. And the amazing thing is, literally every single time, or maybe 99.9% of the time, not only does that worst case scenario not happen, but the situation ends up going much, much better than expected. Now, I think there's definitely some validity to visualizing a worst case scenario, at least very briefly. I think it can set us up so that we're not completely blindsided by anything. But if it becomes the overwhelming narrative, always imagining the worst, then it will really cripple you. And I've been crippled so much of my life, which is so much fear and worry about what will happen. And it just really hit me now how literally every single time I'm concerned about the outcome and I do it anyway, I take the action anyway, it works out. Even if it is a quote-unquote failure and I am nervous or something happens that I don't feel good about, I end up learning so much. So there's literally no reason, there's never a logical reason to be scared about a situation. You're not going to die. The worst that might happen is you might make a fool of yourself, or you'll quote-unquote fail and feel stupid, but you're always going to recover. You're not going to die. I think our minds tend to just catastrophize everything, and we think that, first of all, we think the worst thing's going to happen, and then we think that it's going to, be fatal, and we're going to die, and we'll never be able to recover. It's amazing how that works. So it's just so important to be aware of the narratives that your mind plays out. Even this evening, I have a call with a gentleman who's a coach, and I met him randomly on Facebook. And in my mind, I'm already oh my God, how is this call gonna go? He's gonna judge me, etc., etc. And I'm why? It's never logical. It's never rational. Chances are, we're gonna connect, and I'm gonna learn a lot, and it's gonna be awesome. But every situation that brings about these narratives, just question the narratives, because it's just fear. It's just our natural biology, maybe, of trying to control, that's writing these scripts. And I think we just have such a deep ingrained fear of failure, and maybe it's me more so than other people if you're not resonating with this, but it's I always visualize failure, and it's I have to force myself into all these situations. But it almost always does turn out fantastically. So that's the takeaway, is don't listen to the narratives in your mind, because they're literally just stories that your mind is throwing out. It's not reality. It's never reality. It's a story. Reality is here and now. And what these stories are based on, if it's your past conditioning or past trauma or whatever, it doesn't matter. Just don't listen to the stories, question the stories, and keep taking action despite the stories. Peace out.